There are places in this world that were once full of life, cities, schools, entire towns, now left in complete silence, frozen in time. But why were these places abandoned? Some were destroyed by disasters. Others were shut down due to terrifying secrets. And a few remain a complete mystery with no clear explanation. Why do people flee? What happened here? From a city poisoned by its own industry to a town that has been burning for over 60 years. Each of these places holds a dark story that is almost too chilling to believe. Would you dare to visit these haunted locations? Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an exploration into the world's most mysterious places.
Imagine an island so densely packed that at one point it was called the concrete jungle of the sea. Hashima Island, also known as Battleship Island, was a booming coal mining facility housing thousands of workers and their families. But today, it's nothing more than a decaying skeleton of its former self. At its peak, the island had over 5,000 residents living in cramped apartments, all working in the underground mines below the ocean floor. But when Japan's economy shifted away from coal in the 1970s, the island was abandoned almost overnight. Yet, what's more terrifying is what was discovered later. During World War II, thousands of Korean and Chinese prisoners were forced into slave labor under horrific conditions. Many died in the tunnels below, and their bodies were never recovered. Today, the island remains untouched, a ghost town surrounded by endless ocean. Some say that when the wind howls through the ruined buildings, you can still hear the whispers of those who never escaped. Once filled with music, laughter, and applause, the Orpheum Theater in Massachusetts is now a dark and decaying ruin. Built in 1912, it was one of the grandest theaters in America, hosting famous performances and events for nearly 50 years. Then, in 1959, something strange happened. It closed without warning. Some say it was due to financial troubles, but others claim it was something far more sinister. Staff and visitors reported strange shadows moving backstage, cold spots in empty hallways, and phantom whispers in the dressing rooms. What's even creepier, the theater wasn't actually fully abandoned. For years, the building was repurposed as a warehouse, storing massive amounts of supplies, while the Grand Theater sat untouched behind locked doors. Today, explorers who sneak inside claim they still hear music playing from nowhere and have seen figures watching them from the balcony, even though the theater has been empty for decades. In the 1940s, Widenham was an active mining town, producing blue asbestos, a mineral highly valued for construction. But what people didn't realize was that this material was highly toxic. By the 1970s, doctors noticed something terrifying. Workers and their families were developing fatal lung diseases at an alarming rate. The entire town was slowly being poisoned by its own industry. It was too late. By the time the government ordered an evacuation, thousands had already died from exposure. Today, the town is so dangerous that it has been removed from official maps, and its roads have been shut down. Yet, here's the most disturbing part. A few people still live there. Despite the government warning them to leave, a handful of residents refuse to abandon their homes, living in a place that is literally killing them.
In 1962, a small mining accident beneath the town of Centralia triggered a disaster unlike any other, a massive underground coal fire that never stopped burning. The fire spread through abandoned mine tunnels, creating sinkholes, releasing toxic gases, and making roads collapse. By the 1980s, Centralia was deemed too dangerous to live in, and the government ordered a mandatory evacuation. Today, the town is almost completely deserted, with just a few stubborn residents who refuse to leave. The strangest part? Scientists say the fire could keep burning for another 250 years. This is a real-life hell on Earth, where the ground itself is alive with fire.
Deep beneath the Red Sea, the SS Thistlegorm lies in eerie silence. Once a British supply ship during World War II, it was bombed by German aircraft in 1941 and sank instantly. For decades, it sat undisturbed until divers discovered something chilling. The cargo inside was perfectly preserved. Trucks, motorcycles, weapons, even boots and uniforms, all still sitting exactly as they were when the ship went down. But here's the terrifying part. Many diverse reports seeing ghostly figures wandering through the wreck, as if the soldiers on board never left. Some even claim to have heard faint voices and metallic sounds coming from the ship, despite it being over 80 years old. Is the SS Thistlegorm just a shipwreck? Or is it something much, much more?
On April 26, 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear plant exploded, releasing deadly radiation across Ukraine. Within hours, the entire city of Pripyat was forced to evacuate. What's horrifying is that people had no idea they were being poisoned. Many assumed they would return in a few days, but they never did. Today, Pripyat remains a radioactive ghost town, where schools, homes, and even amusement parks remain exactly as they were the day the city was abandoned. Even worse, scientists predict Chernobyl will remain uninhabitable for at least another 20,000 years.
In 1971, Soviet scientists accidentally drilled into a massive underground gas pocket, causing the ground to collapse into a fiery crater. To prevent dangerous gases from escaping, they set it on fire, expecting it to burn for a few days. But instead, it has been burning for over 50 years. Some believe it's a natural gas leak. Others think it's something far more supernatural. Locals call it the gateway to the underworld, and some believe it will never stop burning. These places were once full of life, but now they are trapped in time, forever abandoned. Each location holds dark secrets, chilling histories, and mysteries that may never be solved. Which of these stories was the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments. For more mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.